If we're all ready, I'd like to start. Tell you a little bit about who I am first, a little bit about myself, just so that you know who the guy is behind the mic. I'm Jerry Pell. I'm an environmental scientist, and I'm the project manager for this particular project. I've been with the Department of Energy for 34 years, and the reason I haven't retired is because I still enjoy meetings just like this one. And as long as I keep having fun, I'm not going to retire. I've been doing environmental and energy work of one kind or another for 40 years, everything from anthracite to wind, and including global warming and now transmission line projects just like this one. The proposed project is not a Department of Energy project. I want that clear from the outset. The project is proposed to us by Transmission Developers Incorporated, of which Don Jessen here is the president, and we'll be telling you a little about the project shortly. They require what we call a presidential permit, which was actually a requirement that was initiated about 50 years ago by a White House order, executive order. And the permit is required whenever a transmission line wishes to cross the international border, either from Canada into the United States or from Mexico into the United States, and in this case, of course, it's from Canada. Now, when the federal government has to issue a permit or consider issuing a permit, that triggers the National Environmental Policy Act, the NEPA, N-E-P-A, as many of you know, as the abbreviation. And under NEPA, there are several levels of environmental review that you undertake depending on the nature of the project. The Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS, which is the type of review we're doing for this project, for Champlain-Hudson, is the most comprehensive, exhaustive environmental assessment there is. And it literally embraces the entire spectrum of potential impacts, good and bad, including issues like environmental justice, socioeconomic impacts, purpose and need, etc. Alternatives, cumulative impacts. And that brings me to the reason why we're here tonight. We're having 7 of these meetings, in which we started, which this is the third one now. We had one in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and then in Manhattan. Actually, sorry, this is the 4th one. You lose track after a while. Yonkers last night. Now here in Kingston. Tomorrow we go on to Albany, then Glens Falls, and finally Plattsburgh. So what we're trying to do is give people along the entire route an opportunity to meet with us and to help us define the scope, as it's called, of the EIS, to make sure that if there are issues that you are concerned about, that we know about them and include them in our analysis. So the reason we're here tonight is to obtain your input into what we should be looking at in the conduct of the EIS. This will culminate in a scoping report, which is not actually required by NEPA, but which we do, because I think it's a valuable document, that will summarize the comments that we will receive during the 7 meetings and during the open comment period, which closes on August 2nd. And of course, I'm expecting that we will be obtaining comments in writing, either electronically or by mail, between now and the August 2nd deadline. And it really doesn't matter how the comments come in, whether you speak here tonight or email them to me or mail them to me. The comments all receive equal weight regardless of how received. But that scoping report will summarize the comments that did come in over the 7 meetings. That will be a public document. It'll be on our website, and if you subscribe to our website mailing list, you will get a notice advising you that that report is on the web and is now available. That's essentially the calm before the storm. The really large product is the draft environmental impact statement itself, which will come out sometime thereafter. And that will be the document that now you can comment on in terms of actually reviewing how we looked at the impacts. And there will be a series of meetings just like this one, but this time you'll actually have an opportunity to review our analysis. And those comments that you provide to us at that point will shape the final environmental impact statement. And in the process, we also produce a comment and response document which identifies your comments and how we dealt with them. So it's an extremely transparent, open, public process. Everything you say or do is available to everyone else and is on the internet and freely available. So that's basically the essence of why we're here. And I have a list of several people that have asked to speak. I will take them in order. And then after that, I will open the floor to anybody that has any thoughts they wish to add. And we will not adjourn until everyone has had a chance to say their piece. But I will first turn to Don Jessom from Transmission Developers to share with us some information about the project itself. Don?
Thank you, Dr. Pell. As Dr. Pell mentioned, my name is Don Jessom. I'm President and CEO of Transmission Developers, Inc., who is the proponent looking to develop this project. The project's name is the Champlain Hudson Power Express Project. And when we first started to develop this project, it was a 2,000 megawatt project, 1,000 into New York City and 1,000 into Southwest Connecticut. The first statement I'd like to make is on July the 6th, we made a public announcement that we are no longer developing the Connecticut portion of this line. And so the impacts that we're looking at this point in time are only with respect to the New York component of the project, because we're no longer developing the 1,000 megawatts over into Southwest Connecticut. So the project is an HVDC, or high voltage direct current transmission project, that's interconnecting Canada to the New York City marketplace, 1,000 megawatts. And just in general terms, 1,000 megawatts represents approximately 1 million residential homes in terms of the energy usage. So it's a fairly significant project in terms of size. However, also to put in perspective, the New York state marketplace is about 35,000 megawatts in terms of total capacity. So although it's a large project, it's one of very many projects that are already in the state of New York. The project is what we call a bipole, a 1,000 megawatt bipole. So there's 2 cables. Each cable carries 500 megawatts. The cables are approximately 5 inches in diameter. And all of the information I'm providing to you here is available on our website. Certainly information packages over there. And we have to go through very rigorous environmental permitting and permitting process through the Article 7 process of the Public Service Commission. So all of this is available, and we have encourage people to sign up to our website to get all of this information. The cables themselves will interconnect with Hydro-Quebec transmission system at the border. We'll come down the Richelieu River, and the cables are physically buried in the waterways that I'm talking about, and they're buried approximately 3 feet below the sediment level. And they're buried for one reason. They're buried to protect the cables against anchors, and that's the most important reason we bury them. The 2 cables will come down the Richelieu River into Lake Champlain, into the Hudson River. They come down as far as Glens Falls, and then we come out of the waterway, still buried, go on to the CP railway line, and go around the Capital District, and then on to the CSX railway line. And so the reason we do that is because we're avoiding the PCB dredging area that is in the Hudson River. It's something that we're obviously concerned about from an environmental perspective, and we found an alternative route, felt that was appropriate for that area. We come back into the Hudson River at Coymans, down into the Hudson to Yonkers, where we'll build a converter station. And a converter station just takes AC, or in this particular case, DC power, and converts it back into AC. All of the lights and other equipment that we all use today are AC powered. And